All right, so I'm here to, thanks to FPWR for inviting us to present on the investigational medication that we're currently studying in a phase 3 study for treatment of hyperphagia and obsessive compulsive and behavioral symptoms in PWS. So I can start by telling you a little bit of the background about what carbetocin is and why we think that it's important to investigate it as a promising investigational treatment for PWS, and then also tell you about the results of a completed phase 2 study which was completed in PWS children in 2014, and then tell you about the design of our currently ongoing phase 3 study and how you could learn information if you're interested in participating. We'll again be at the information booths outside after the talk if you'd like more information. So what is carbetocin? It's what's called an oxytocin analog, meaning that it's a chemical compound that's designed to be very similar to a natural hormone present in the body called oxytocin. So as you might know, oxytocin is present in humans and all other mammals, and it has some very important roles in controlling appetite and normal feelings of fullness or satiety. Also a lot of important roles in social and behavioral symptoms like parent-child bonding, control of anxiety and obsessive and compulsive symptoms. It's also been shown that people with PWS have a significant decrease in the amount of oxytocin in part of their brain called the hypothalamus. So taking that fact together with the known important roles of oxytocin in hunger and obsessive compulsive symptoms, we are very hopeful that replacing some of that missing oxytocin function will be a promising therapy for PWS. So carbetocin is very similar chemically to oxytocin, but has a number of improvements or refinements to its design, including that it's much more selective in binding only to oxytocin receptors and avoiding what's called off-target binding to other receptor subtypes. So we hope that may limit the risk for certain sorts of side effects. And interestingly, lastly on this slide, there is some significant clinical experience with the use of an intravenous form of carbetocin. So that's been approved in over 90 countries outside the US, including Canada, for a different use. It's given intravenously to prevent excessive bleeding after a caesarean section. So actually over 10 million women have received it for that use, and it's had no safety concerns. But of course, it's not realistic to have an IV injection daily, so it's now being developed as an intranasal spray that's given 3 times a day with meals. So there was a phase 2 study completed of that intranasal carbetocin in PWS patients. I can take you through the safety and tolerability results of that. On the left-hand column, you can see there were 17 patients who received carbetocin for 2 weeks, and 20 patients were assigned to placebo. It was relatively safe and well tolerated throughout that experience. The most common adverse event reported was headache, which you can see in the middle of the slide occurred in about 30% of both the placebo and carbetocin arms, so relatively equal. And there were no serious adverse events in people taking carbetocin. The efficacy results were also quite promising. This is a questionnaire measuring hyperphagia, and you can see in orange the change in people receiving carbetocin and blue the change in people receiving placebo. So there was actually a significant decrease at day 15 favoring people who received carbetocin. Several other endpoints assessed other important behavioral symptoms of PWS, including the SIBOX that assesses obsessive and compulsive behaviors, including repetitive questioning, difficulty changing your routine, and skin picking. So that was also in favor of a significant benefit of carbetocin, in addition to other scales assessing food behaviors and the clinician's overall impression of PWS symptoms. If you'd like further results, they're available on our website at levotx.com. So since it was very relatively safe and well tolerated and had those encouraging effects in phase 2, that motivated us to begin this phase 3 study of carbetocin in a larger and longer treatment experience in children with PWS. This is called the CARE-PWS study. I'll take you through briefly its design. It begins with a 8-week placebo-controlled period, so meaning that at the very start of the study, you could be randomly assigned to receive an inactive placebo nasal spray or either a high or low dose carbetocin. But after that, all participants who previously received placebo will have the opportunity to receive active carbetocin during the remainder of the trial. And in addition, for patients that complete the 56 weeks long-term follow-up, if they'd like to continue to receive carbetocin, we're making an extension period available for them. The efficacy and safety measures will be largely consistent with the phase 2 study. We'll be looking for improvements in hyperphagia, obsessive and compulsive symptoms, and perhaps anxiety and social responsiveness. And safety will be monitored throughout the study in cooperation with the study doctors. So in summary, this is planned to be a phase 3 randomized controlled study that will have an initial 8-week period where you could be receiving placebo, but then all participants will have the opportunity to receive active drug during the remainder of the study. Our goal is to enroll 175 participants. We're currently actively enrolling at over 23 sites in the US and Canada, and hoping to open some study sites in Australia as well. So we can show a map on the final slide. The enrollment criteria will include people aged 7 to 18. Anyone who hasn't yet turned 19 at the time of screening could be eligible. There's no restrictions or enrollment criteria based on weight or BMI. These are a list of our participating study sites. We will be providing travel support for people that live far away from these sites, but are really appreciative of FPWR inviting us, and hope you'll come by our booth for more information. So.